In the ancient land of Arcteria, nestled between towering mountains and vast plains, there was a city of unmatched splendor known as Lyros. Lyros was a jewel of prosperity, home to thriving markets, golden palaces, and the legendary treasures of its guardian, Andrew Tate. He was a man of humble beginnings who rose to prominence through ingenuity, ambition, and a heart unyielding to despair. Yet his wealth and prominence made him a target for envy and greed. When news spread of Andrew Tate's riches, rival factions and warlords converged upon Lyros, intent on plundering his city and stripping him of his power. They wanted his treasures, his lands, his home, everything that defined him. They brought armies, cunning schemes, and the weight of hatred, determined to bring Lyros to its knees. But Andrew Tate was no stranger to adversity. With his city under siege and his resources stretched thin, he vowed to rise above the tide of despair. Riches can be rebuilt, homes can be restored, but honor and courage must never be surrendered, he proclaimed to the frightened people of Lyros. That day, his resolve became the foundation of an army, a force raised not through wealth but through faith and determination. Andrew rallied the common folk, the farmers, the artisans, and even those who had once doubted him. He trained them relentlessly, forging an army from nothing. His soldiers wielded makeshift weapons and wore improvised armor, yet their spirits burned with the fire of purpose. Together, they transformed Lyros into a fortress, crafting ingenious defenses and honing strategies to outwit their enemies. As the enemies approached, their banners filled the horizon, threatening to drown Lyros in a tide of destruction. Andrew Tate stood at the front lines, a symbol of hope and defiance. "We will not be mere victims in history's tale," he declared. "We will write our own story, with courage as our ink and sacrifice as our parchment." The battles that followed were a test of endurance, willpower, and ingenuity. Andrew led his army through every clash, devising ambushes, traps, and daring maneuvers that confounded their enemies. With limited resources, he turned the terrain into his ally, luring enemy forces into narrow passes where their numbers were rendered ineffective. Time and again, Lyros seemed on the brink of collapse. The rival factions threw everything they had: siege engines, assassins, treachery. But Andrew Tate and his army held firm. Even when the nights were longest and despair whispered in the shadows, Andrew refused to give up. In the final battle, as the enemy forces amassed for a devastating assault, Andrew gathered his soldiers one last time. "If we fall, let it be as lions, with our roar echoing through eternity," he said. "We fight not just for treasures, but for the spirit of Lyros, the essence of who we are." With fire in their hearts, Andrew and his army repelled the invaders. Every swing of their swords and every cry of defiance was a testament to their unbreakable will. Andrew fought at the forefront, his presence electrifying his soldiers and demoralizing his enemies. When dawn broke, the enemy forces retreated, shattered and defeated. Lyros stood victorious. And Andrew Tate's legend was etched into the annals of history. Though he defended his riches, lands, and property, it was his indomitable spirit that truly defined him. For Andrew Tate proved that even when faced with insurmountable odds, one man can inspire a legacy of resilience that echoes through generations.